Alrighty guys, got Palantir up here. We just talked about this over on Patreon with some of the signals here, just talking about some ideas of what seems to be likely to happen. That's over on Patreon. We put that video out during market hours, trying to bring as much value as possible to Patreon because I like to really oversell that thing, especially at the beginning of the month when you can get some monthly expected moves. Now we do notice the SPY still reaching up towards higher levels and going up towards maybe even a daily expect move. Now we are trying to curl down on this MACD, but you notice we are still holding above the 9 on the 30 minutes. A very interesting look there. Something to keep in mind is even though we are heading higher, volatility is doing what we talked about this morning. So I want you to be very aware of this because this 30-minute turning up could mean that that 2-hour is going to turn back around and reject here, and you've already confirmed divergence there, and you're just the main signal to pay attention to is going to be the 4-hour across. That will be when this is more sustainable volatility coming in, just so you are aware. Some interesting things happening though around the market. We do notice things like Microsoft getting big upward moves, giving a big reversal signal in our sell zone as of right now, right? This is a big resistance zone for the time being, so pay attention to that. Google making a pretty upward move, just a little bit higher, and you're already testing right now a breakdown area. Are we going to test another one? That will be interesting. AMC is remaining positive, but this is an ugly signal. It tells you that a 2-hour is likely to pull back. So if this is going to behave like a regular stock, you're not going to see some kind of squeeze. The most probable thing for AMC right now is to pull back. Maybe we go fill a gap or something like that. This week, we'll find out. GME has already seen some ugliness, so that is something to pay attention to at this moment. These signals like to rotate down a daily chart. You notice that hasn't crossed yet, but a daily pullback is very likely here for something like GameStop, so be aware. Now, it's not crossed over yet. Crazy thing's going to happen, but that would be the most probable thing to show up there for GameStop. DJT, look for that to curl up on a daily chart, right? Looking for that to curl up on a daily chart. And SoFi, we were pointing out the weakness and momentum here for SoFi with that one more move higher. We were talking about this move higher from the 5-day moving average and then creating a point to pay attention because that could be seen as some divergence. Now, there's always a chance as we keep that 5 that this just keeps riding the 5 up, right? The trend is overall in this direction. I don't know why I have this pulled up so weird, but you can notice we just get these reactions, we go to the 5. We get the reaction, we go to the 5. We get the reaction, we go to the 5. We get the reaction, we go to the 5. So if this 30-minute curls up, we should expect that to continue. We can watch out for divergences that make us lose the 5. That would be something different. SoFi really looks like in this area with this 2-hour signal and the 30-minute signals building that it really wants a daily pullback very soon. So keep your eye out because there might be a pullback, but there also might be an opportunity later on if this thing can scoot back up for a swing trade. SMCI, we'll go check on that. We haven't really looked at that today. SMCI down here, 30% move, fantastic move. First of all, gave us some signals here that this was going to happen. I mean, SMCI, we were talking about this 2-hour divergence a little bit. I think we saw it after it confirmed, like around these bars, but we do notice the 2-hour divergence there on the MACD, on the RSI at the same time. That's great. 2-hour pulls back, reacts off the 5, confirms up again. Do we see weakness here that can say, hey, this 2-hour can turn? If the 2-hour turns just randomly, you're going to have divergence on the MACD and RSI. You could end up with some kind of daily pull down. But if this is going to show us weakness first, then this 30-minute most likely has to make a signal in the near price action that actually shows some good weakness. So I do think it would make sense for the 30-minute to kind of fizzle out here for a bit or even experience a drop down to the 5 and then curl back up. That's more when we'll talk about a bigger 2-hour pullback or SMCI. So not the best reversal signals, very flat across for the RSI, noticing that. And you're noticing slightly down for the MACD, but now flat for the MACD. So pretty much this move might have gotten rid of these divergences here, and we might actually see just this base out and keep going. So we'll pay attention. It still looks pretty good. Wolf now up 12.53%. That's one we were talking about. DJT up 2.28. That's one we were talking about. Looks good. There are some opportunities out there, and the SPY seems to want to hold at higher levels. This seems more like squeezing behavior than it does look like, you know, a fight between buyers and sellers. Tesla, is it an overall swing trade? Well, the 2-hour would be considered a swing trade. The hourly might be considered a swing trade on this one, but the 2-hour, yeah, right here was the early time. You had two of the indications waiting on the lagger. Now we have the lagger, so that does say, hey, we are likely to test this high, go make a new one. But if we get excited, right, we go up here and we see something fall off, that can create some problems. We can actually confirm some kind of divergence here. You are holding that divergence at this point, just so you are aware. So if Tesla's going to go through something bad, I don't see it on the 30-minute just yet. But if it's like, hey, the 30-minute needs to pull back, we're hitting that resistance area where we really struggle. If we need to pull back and fill this gap, that would be good. But if this curls down on the 30-minute and just keeps going and we start to take out this low, you're gonna curl down a 2-hour, and that's a big problem because you have serious weakness here. Pretty much you have a signal that says a bigger daily pullback can come for something like Tesla, you know, if that 2-hour does rotate down. 30-minute pullback, I'd kind of like it. I still think it has the opportunity to bounce probably up to like something like, what, 370 or something like that. Looks pretty good. Nvidia is starting to roll right now, so we just want to mainly pay attention to the 2-hour with Nvidia on these rolls, like really see if that's able to cross down. That could get ugly. Right now, we talked about this in the video over on Patreon a little bit, but do we see reversal signals? I mean, the last time we got a reversal signal, it proved, right? There it is. It's right here with these highs. We see the downside. We see that negative divergence on the MACD. We see negative divergence on the RSI. Very simple. Do we see that now? No, we don't necessarily have that second point. So what if we're going to go create that second point? What if we go create that second point? That's something I'd be interested in, right? We kind of come down like this, maybe we bounce back up, and then we watch out for that kind of look because it was so good to us in the past. So it's just, if these things start to draw down, you want to see if they curl over bigger charts. Palantir looks relatively weak. We did talk about that at the very beginning, so I see how you missed it. Now, the 30 minutes are real wonky. You're getting serious. Like, the 30-minute is a squeeze. Like, when you're in a squeeze on the 30-minute, you see tons of divergences. When you really want to pay attention is when it's close. When it's really close to that center line, you're getting a crossover. So now is a time to pay attention, and your 2 hours telling you to pay attention as well. Getting that to turn down on the 2-hour is a big deal. You were able to briefly, just barely, maybe even just touching on it here on the 9 on the 2-hour. So that would just tell me, hey, you know, this is crossing down. This can cross over a daily chart. Does the daily chart look like it needs a pullback? Yes, it does. And you're starting to see a blip there too. Now, this would be considered a blip right now because you're not technically seeing price action close below the 9. We're seeing that a lot these days, which is very fishy, Jack. This would more lean Palantir towards a pullback. Your first real support is going to be in these lows. Your first like real support. Obviously, you know, on Patreon, we do give out weekly expected moves. But right here, like 58.50 is going to be a very important level. That's really where the support, or the support really begins, I would say, for something like Palantir. A lot of data this week. We'll see if it shakes things up. If it's going to get a little worse, you can back off more. Right, you can back off more. If we're really looking at this thing, and we haven't seen like a fantastic retracement pretty much the entire time, it's like, okay, well, let's take this low and just see what a retracement of this overall move from the low would be. Well, you could end up down towards 37.80, 38, and it would make sense. You could end up right here towards 48 or 44, 42, and that would make sense. But you notice, where's your first fib retracement line? It's pretty close to this area, and this area is what I'd be paying attention to first off. It's a very bullish move. I think if we're able to back off slowly, right, kind of like slow, 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 then you see that turn around. Just really paying attention to this area right here. Reconnect, right? Reconnect maybe. So is it like, oh yeah, there's more upside room for sure? Yeah, I mean, there's always room because this 30-minute is still positive. So if the 30-minute is going to keep going positive, then none of that's going to, like, no downside's going to happen. I'm just looking for the better opportunity. I think the better opportunity is when you get a daily pullback. There you go, 2.72, not bad, not bad, Mr. DJ Tizzle. Cross up on that MACD, big dog. The big signal for the SPY is the 2 hour. You still have to watch this 2 hour because we notice it is, I'm going to go double check real quick to make sure I'm not lying to you guys, but I'm going to go check the futures and see if this stuff is still holding. Ooh, it's almost barely not holding. It's like barely not holding. It's there. It's just not the greatest in the world. Now it is holding on 2 of my other indicators, just not the RSI, but the RSI is the first one you really want to react to. So that tells us what? We could see more squeezing. We could see more squeezing. I know that it's holding on the 4 for the futures as well, and I think this is what I'll watch. Yeah, it's holding on every indicator for a 4 hour, just only on 2 indicators for a 2 hour right now. Just such a gradual move up. Very squeezy type move where it just kind of did. But we have seen some fights in it. That's what's interesting. What was a weird one? Oh, TLT. TLT was an interesting one. TLT is suggesting weakness and momentum. Now, we do get data for TLT, but the technicals here are suggesting a 2 hour pullback is very possible. Really paying attention to some key levels. I think 92.50 when we retest that 5-day would be very good for TLT. And we do get data throughout the week, so that could change all of this. That could change it where TLT sees a run. That could make it so TLT actually pulls back. But you are getting that weakness in momentum. So some news, just know if that news ends up being good for TLT and bad for yields, well then that means this ain't going to drop, right? We're going to see that weakness and momentum that's building end up being distributed that way, right? So I would just make sure you're paying attention to the actual reaction here instead of just trying to take something early. But I get it. Makes sense. It's just very controlled every time. But how's everyone doing today? Everyone enjoying the market today? Yeah, Jack, I hope that's helpful. I mean, everything always has like that upside room on those short time frames, but if you don't want to get caught in something ugly, it's once the bigger time frames start to roll that you go, oh crap, like it can really just mess up everything on the shorter time frames. I just think patience for the better opportunity is good, and I'll probably look into Palantir. I actually like it if I can get a daily pullback. It can keep going forever, Dimitri. So a 15-minute, the reason I don't pay attention to 15 minutes is because just look at Palantir. Like if I look at Palantir and I pull up a 15-minute, it's going to be crazy how many times I've probably seen divergence in this. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, that violated, maybe even, oh, not 8, not 9, not 10. Then we go up, we create 1, 2, 3, multiple point. Then we have 1, 2, and then your price action, we have it holding all the way across. Like there's just so many that it's like, when's the actual opportunity? You'd have to manage a trade like 100 times. Even on the 30-minute, you've had to manage a trade maybe like 2 or 3 times already. And then you look and you just go, okay, what am I really looking for here? I'm looking for the 2 hour. Now the 2 hour has done it to you once. So you've only technically managed the trade 1 time on the 2 hour. And then you're sitting there going, hey, the 2 hour is positive, the 2 hour is positive, the 2 hour is positive. Okay. Let me just wait for this thing to cross and then I'll get that daily pullback. That's the most likely scenario there. I don't know what this one is. Oh wait, I have looked at this one before. For this one, very, very good stable bottom. Very, very good making of a bottom here. Okay, I don't need to go into the shorter time frames to show you this, but I can if you want to see it. So this was a bounce. This is a 30-minute divergence. This came down, made the first point of divergence, right? We see that flat up on the RSI. Good move. Fails because it cannot remain positive turns down briefly, turns right back up for a slightly higher low, which is just as good as divergence because look how much steeper that got, right? It got a little bit steeper on the RSI. Then you see that cross up right here and you go, okay, that most likely will curl up a daily chart. And you notice now that daily chart is curling up. Yes, Laws. We're doing one more, and then I'm trying to bring as much value to you guys today because I'm very busy tomorrow. So tomorrow, there's a chance I can't even go live in the morning. I'm really going to try. Okay, I'm really going to try to. And it lines up with January 20th, Tom. My overall thinking, and why I think it's ironic that you say there's a target there for January 20th, right when Trump gets in, is we're probably going to see, I think if we can see a pullback now, what convinces people the Christmas rally is not happening. Yeah, it's still 100. It's just 100. So if you want to ask questions about it, Dimitri, today, after a sale, I like to make sure to do a live video in case some new people that came in over the weekend who were thinking about getting it can come and ask questions. Just so you're aware, the course is down there right now on sale. I can put that up so you can see it. It's the last chance to get it. So this will be like the last chance to get it. If you want to, if you're new and you want to stick around, there will be one more opportunity around Christmas time. So if someone's struggling to get you a Christmas present, they forget about you, they whatever, you can tell them, hey, I kind of want this. You know what I mean? I think that'd be cool. So I'm going to do that, and then that's it. That's it for 2024. We are never going back down to that price point. But I just want you to be aware of that. I do that a lot of the time so that people can come and ask questions, make sure it's a good fit. A lot of people just think like, oh, it's cheap, so I'm just buying it for like a couple of hours. No, you get the whole thing. Markets suck today. I'm kind of in agreement with that, but there are some fun moves happening. You know, we are moving. That's the good thing. Like things are moving. I think the SPY is pretty dry, if that's what I was talking about. I bought last Friday. Hell yeah, Stephen, let's go. I hope it went well for you. And if you guys ever want to talk about it, we can. Yeah, it's more just trying to get you to understand like why things are the way they are. And once you understand that, you know, especially when it comes to divergence, MACD, the weekly ranges, once you can understand that very well, you feel very confident in it. And then you can say, okay, I can be confident in this and I know how to manage a trade now. It's very, very cool. So thank you so much for grabbing that, Stephen. Really appreciate you being here this afternoon. Yeah, it's pretty good stuff. It's just the SPY that's dry. Like I was watching the SPY for like 30 minutes off stream while I was working on something else, right? And I was just like, man, this thing is boring. But you go look at other things. Microsoft is really interesting right now. Microsoft really looks like this is a bad signal, right? And if you're part of Patreon, you know why it might be a little bit worse. Google is making a great move. It's like, hey, it can make one more slight upward move, but this is a bad signal technically for the MACD, not the RSI. And actually, we violated that. So we ended up violating it. So now one more move higher would make sense. Nvidia, we talked about this, how this could make some kind of signal like in the past. And that's what we talked about a little bit today as well. So power hour, baby. Looking for a break over 200 for Google. I think Google actually is one that kind of lagged behind for a second. And it's like the timing of it isn't the worst. It's just the state of the market right now doesn't look the best. And I would say this for someone trying to take Google to something like 200, right? It's not a bad thing, and you have a longer out option, so I get it. It makes total sense. But if it does this, that would be a lot better. This is when I'll be looking at Google. When it comes down to here and does this, if it does that, hey, that would be an opportunity. That would really tell you that that daily is going to curl back around. You're going to see a daily swing trade, and you have a good chance of going to take out this high, going to make a new one. And maybe it does go up towards 200. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm looking for weakness in Google to see if that's going to turn around. I don't necessarily see it anymore. I saw it this morning for a second, and now I'm not necessarily seeing it. And we have a little bit higher target here. So if that can just jump up, maybe even pull back first, then jump up, that would be something to pay attention to. Yeah, I just wanted you to be aware of it because that's what I was talking about on Patreon. The 2 hour is very, very good here to just as a risk management standpoint, right? It's like if I think this is going to 200 and I see a 2 hour turn down, oh, okay, that could be bad. And then I go, oh, it gave me an opportunity. Now that's good again, right? Just flipping back and forth, trading like water. And you have a lot, yeah, that's the best part. Best part about taking out those longer options is time is kind of with you, at least in the beginning, as long as the signals look good. It stays with you. DIA was a very interesting one. Now, DIA is in the middle of its zone, creating these divergences, holding the 5, looking like it wants to do one more curl up. And if that curls up, we could get rid of all these divergences and just see an upward move. That's all if it curls up. Right now it's turning down. It's really close to the center line, and these signals like to curl over a 2 hour. So where's the 2 hour most likely to pull back if we see a 2 hour pullback this week? 443.51. We do something like this. We get a little 30-minute divergence in here. Right when everyone says, oh my gosh, the DIA is crushing to the floor, you see one more 2 hour move higher, then it falls down. Now, it doesn't have to create that divergence. We're going to pay attention to that in case it is a bigger fall. This does like to rotate down daily charts, right? We know that by now, which is fantastic. Especially if you took the course, you definitely know that by now. Very highly probable when you see a 2 hour divergence to roll down a daily chart. That's why it's good to pay attention. If you're seeing a 2 hour divergence, guys, it's very good to check the daily chart and be like, is there divergence there that could cross over? Is it just really high up? And am I looking for more of a pullback move so that I can, you know, I'm showing this at the beginning of the week. Okay, the 2 hours pulling down. If we go quickly to the weekly expected move and we base out, maybe that's all we're going to get. If we're going to curl down even further on the daily, maybe we go down to a monthly, right? That's really something we were kind of talking about in the video today, just really discussing how to look into the monthly expected moves. The dollar still holding at higher levels, reacted down to our 105.65 and starting to see that move higher. So very interesting. And VIX actually flipped back down to negative, so good. Okay, so we haven't seen the 30-minute able to curl up and confirm the divergence, so that's important here. We need that to confirm. SPY no power hour. SPY just boring hour. So maybe in the last 5 minutes. Maybe in the last 10, 15 minutes. But yeah, guys, just so you're aware, if you're here and you're new, this is the last chance to really get it for now. And then we'll, stick around, especially if you're new, stick around. Watch the channel. We do talk about things that do happen in the course that we discuss in the course. We just do it, it's way more precise in the course. You're going to get actual sections where we're talking about each topic. And it's much more informative of why I say the things that I say on YouTube. And that link is down there in the description. I did not edit the description before I started this stream, so sorry if the description says like, hey, it ends November or something like that. Alrighty, let me go look at why the volume's so terrible. I actually don't know why we would be experiencing terrible volume. The only thing I can come up with is insiders are not doing much, or like big money, right? Say smart money, not doing much. And this is all just retail doing these moves. Bitcoin looking for a pullback. Actually, we do need to look at Bitcoin. I do need to look at that real quick because Bitcoin, something very key is happening here. Daily pullback, most likely scenario. We're looking for this to carve out as a lower high. And something we were mentioning today was the 2 hour. The 2 hour actually showing some potential for reversal here. And it wasn't able to hold the move back up. That's very important. Pretty much have a double top here. So we're looking if that 4 hour can confirm down. 4 hour confirming down is most likely telling us, hey, this has another dip lower. Okay, that means the daily is most likely to pull back a little bit lower. So if you have crypto and your crypto that you're paying attention to follows Bitcoin, well, what do you need to see more positivity? Well, you're going to need the 4-hour to confirm back up while it's around positive territory. Right now, it is saying daily pullback to the downside is very likely here. Something I'd watch out for is a quick little divergence or something, but I think this is too drawn out at this point. If anything, you're looking for cup and handle. XRP, like Ripple, is interesting. But just know that these moves, they do pull back at some point. Now, it doesn't have to right now. I'm just saying now is a time you want to pay attention because you're getting a 2-hour, just a 2-hour pullback signal because you're seeing it on the RSI. You're not seeing it on the MACD at the same time. So that just tells us, hey, what could we do? Let's reconnect with that 5 and then go for another run. Let's go for that 5 and then go for another run. I don't know if you can consider it a meme anymore, man. It's in like the top 4 or something like that. But I think that Ripple is discussed on the internet as being potentially suppressed. But like, when's that pullback going to come? Well, this could just keep going like this, right? We can make it again in the future. But I'm just saying right now, I would be paying attention. I'd maybe even be pulling up like an hourly at this point and seeing, okay, what's this look like? Hey, it's flat. Hey, that's down. If this hourly crosses, we are very likely to get a 2-hour pullback. Where are we likely to gravitate to? Well, we got extended away from the 5. Maybe we pull back down into there. If this remains positive and curls back up, I got myself another run. See how we just did? We do all that. And then from this point on, you have to say, okay, now I might start to see divergences on the 2-hour MACD. Got in Ripple at 135. Nice, great trade. Nice job, Gordon. When's GME going to get serious about going down? Well, this signal really leans towards daily pullback. Anything can happen with these stocks at this point, guys. They keep closing at higher levels before an earnings. AMC keeps pumping out good numbers every weekend. That's fantastic, but they both have bad signals right now. These are very bad signals. Right? You have multiple point here, you have daily that can cross down from those signals, and you're starting to see it get down there. But is this just a reaction to go test the 20 and then turn back up? So you really need, what's the recipe for success? Well, right now you only have the daily. You only have the daily that's positive. Other than that, do we have a 2-hour that's positive? No. Do we have a 30-minute that's positive? No. So you need to see a 30-minute in positive territory. You need to see a 2-hour positive and a daily positive. That's the recipe for success. AMC has a 2-hour that looks like it's about to cross down, but it technically is positive still. Daily, positive. But the 30-minute is showing some serious reversal signals saying a 2-hour pullback is very likely. So the one that I like right now is DJT. I like DJT and Wolf right now. Because DJT, if it just crosses up on this MACD, I'm a happy boy, right? That looks good. Wolf, if this just gets into positive territory, if this really confirms, right, breaks through 1135, that thing can squeeze. So really, DJT and Wolf are what I'm paying attention to right now as far as kind of some wild stocks go. So the key thing is with the short sale volume theory that I'm testing is these ones right here, DJT, the short sale volume's at a low and just ticked up. So that tells me they might be about to fight the stock. When do they fight the stock and we see big short sale volume? When they make big moves. So that's why I'm paying attention to DJT. Wolf is a little bit funky because I believe Wolf's short sale volume crossed, hit a low, but hasn't seen that reaction up, but we got a good reaction here. So very interesting. SPY high low this week. Well, we give that away for free every single Sunday, Dimitri, just so you're aware. Make sure to turn on notifications so you don't forget about that because these are the best levels you're going to get probably across anything, right? This is the best support and resistance you use. This is where reversal signals form. This is where reversal signals form. This is where support is. This is where resistance is. And we land in here 68% of the time. So why wouldn't you use that info? It gives you an edge. 68%, 32%, it gives you an edge. It can also help you with taking profit. We talk about that in the course a lot as well. 610.48 for the SPY to get to this week. Now the way, just think of it maybe common sense. Obviously we can squeeze up there. Let's just take that out of consideration for a second. If we take squeeze, which is very obviously can happen, but if we take squeeze out of the consideration here, wouldn't you say with what you're seeing here that it would be very unlikely for us to just continue to gradually do this for days and days and days? Or would it be more likely to, if we want to end up here, to do something like this? Well, you would say it would be more likely to do something like this. That would be the healthier thing to do, right? We noticed that the daily, hey, why didn't it just keep doing this forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever? Well, because some people at some point will take profit and then it curls back up, and that's where you're able to hit higher levels, right? Curls back up, able to hit higher levels. So why can't we see that again before we make a move higher? That's what I'm paying attention to. Also, Dimitri, the monthly expected moves are there as well. These are key. These have helped us so much. It is insane. We have seen some fantastic trade setups with monthly expected moves. Okay, monthly expected moves helped us here, I believe helped us here. Can't remember for sure. I think it helped us here, 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 and here. And all of those helped us. We even used Nvidia to find some stuff. So monthly expected moves, 618.48 to the upside, 586.62 to the downside. If you want the Qs real quick, by the way, guys, anyone that's new to the channel, popping in real quick, weekly expected move for the Qs, 518.99, so pretty much 519, but 518.99, 549. Which if we go below that, we got a buy zone right below us. So, but you can even see this from a bullish perspective. You're going, okay, we're hitting resistance. We consolidated a little before, but now we're overbought as we hit resistance. So wouldn't we like to curl down and then see that go back up? And that's something to watch with the Qs at the end of the day. In the power hour here is, the Qs are currently seeing something crazy, 32% chance to close up here. And you only got, what, 45 minutes left. So in 45 minutes, it makes the most sense to end right there. What does the 30-minute MACD and RSI look like right now? Well, it looks it looks overbought, right? It looks really high up. Now, we've seen moments where that's continued, so don't think it can't. But we would say the most healthy and the thing that makes the most sense is to maybe reconnect with this 5 as it comes up and then see that next move higher. Then we would look out for the divergence. That probably will tell us when a bigger pullback or corrective move is coming. This has to be bullish behavior with the SPY not going down and just staying up. The volume is one only thinking that concerns me. Yeah, well, volume tells you it's a squeeze. Volume tells you it's a squeeze. People aren't selling. Volume tells you it's bullish for sure, because if it's able to go up on the low volume, well, that means there's probably not a bunch of selling showing up. So we have to be open to the fact that this is a very bullish move, but I think we could probably tell at this point that with the low volume, it's most likely retail just slowly getting in, especially on the SPY. Like this little burst here was them getting excited. This is your FOMO people. And then if we experience a drop, they're probably going to start taking puts at the exact wrong time. So we'll read into it when the signals are clear, right? And clearly this is bullish. But it's once it flips and gets bearish when no one expects it to be bearish, that's when things get interesting and I'm pumped. So that's mainly the things that I'm watching. I'm going to click around on my other screen for a little bit just to look at some other stuff. SPY still making the move higher, really going to highs of day again, right? About to go to highs of day again. Let's see here. Okay, looks good. See, now you're starting to see some interesting stuff. DJT now up 3.61%. You need about one more day of positivity, and DJT is crossing up on that MACD. And like I said, it just hit a low on the message not delivered, maybe offline. Oh. Sorry, I got a message. But man, AMC refuses to turn down. GME got butchered there. I'm interested to see the short sale volume tomorrow, or yeah, tomorrow morning. Let's look at this. Let's see if GME flushed around a wall here. 30. 30. Yeah, it was when GME lost 30. That was where people had their calls. So once you fully lost 30, you come down, you retest it, and then you fail, that's when it really started to tank. But a daily pullback makes total sense. If you join the Patreon, you can tell where that monthly expected move is. It's at a very key level for GME, and if you get a daily pullback, you know where you're very likely to go, the daily or the monthly expected move. You do have a chance for some micro in here now. If that can start to go positive, you might get this 30 minutes to move for a second. Palantir trying to turn back up. So this is where it can remain bullish for quite some time, right? If that 30-minute just keeps curling up, what do you notice? Well, we keep seeing upside every time that happens. Even these little moves, that's still holding you up. Microsoft, I'm really interested in. This is one I'm really looking at if we're going to experience a drop. Nvidia still looks like it has more time. TLT could experience it. We'll see about that one. But then I click over to the SPY and I'm just like, God, I could take a nap. You know, and really, once you see an RSI, especially on a 30-minute that just is like this, and you see the RSI is just like that, and the MACD hasn't crossed until now, it's like, yeah, that's some squeeze behavior. That's the low volume squeeze stuff. Short Fridays. AMC, to the moon. Sacre bleu. You also grab some AVGO calls. I want to look at that. So people were looking at that like a couple weeks ago, Broadcom. 2-hour divergence. This is actually really good. This is really good. Wow, that is actually a really good signal. Daily? This means the daily could turn up soon. That would be crazy, dude. Oh my gosh, look at this. Let's see, is it the wick? I think it's a pretty clear level. Yeah. Damn. So that 2-hour signal really likes to curl up daily charts. We'll see if that can happen. Looks like where we're at, it would make sense to make some structure. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Where did I learn my technical knowledge? I took a couple, I think like 3 different, like I spent, I think $6,000 on courses. But I noticed that really I could only learn so much from them because they just fill it with stuff to make it worth a bunch of money, in their opinion. But my course's value holds value in it. Why it could sell for $1,000 is because it is going to tell you everything you actually need to know, right? Because I take all these courses, I maybe use, I'll be generous and say 20% of what I've learned in those courses. What I found was, why don't I look through those courses, find the things that actually help me, things that I believe are actually helpful, and things that actually prove to help my trading, and then focus on those. And that's what I've done for years. Yeah. So what I wanted to do in creating this channel was I was just like, I want to be helpful. I think that people will understand my style of thinking a little bit simpler. From Josh, probably not. And you learn a lot when you make mistakes. That's true, Tom. That's just like a basic way to learn, right? Like, that's just going to happen, by the way. If you become a trader, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to learn faster than them. If you start to blame everything else and you just don't blame you, the person who's actually clicking the buttons, you're going to struggle. You have to start blaming yourself a little bit, or else you're not going to be able to change. I literally talked with one of our viewers, with one of my Patreon members, with one of the course people this weekend, and I talked to them live. I can't remember who it was. Maybe they could shout it out, but last week they were like, I really want to do this play in the chat. And I go, well, we just discussed this stock and it's showing major weakness here. So this is kind of, do whatever you want. It's your money, but I'm just telling you, momentum does not look good here. He made the decision. He understood what I was saying, made the decision to get out, and it helped the overall trade. He could have lost a lot more. I didn't have to tell him what to do. He put it together in his head. That's what we want in this channel. We want people to be learning, and that's fantastic. What did he do in the next step? He goes, all right, that's enough for me. I'm taking the course. And he took the course and he messaged me over the weekend. He said, thank you. And I said, look, you did the great thing. You even emailed me and took accountability for it and said, I made a mistake and I saw my mistake in real time. That's amazing. Yeah, it's a whole new world once you can slightly put your ego to the side and just be like, I'm willing to be wrong. And I'm willing to kind of combat myself when I'm wrong. I think it's awesome. If you can take some accountability for your trading, that helps you take control of your trading. And that's really what the course is designed to do. It's to give you the info to know when those things are happening, and then you have to put it into use. You have to be the one that goes, I'm making a mistake here, I need to get out. Hey, this looks like a good setup, I need to get in. And then you can come back here, you can chat with us, we can all chat about it, we can look at it together, and I can give you a second opinion. We can talk about the momentum and see if I'm seeing what you are. And a lot of people have been joining and showing me some great setups, which is great. I feel like the longer the channel goes on, the more people are sending me stocks with great setups, and I think that shows how it's like, hey, this is working. Like, this is a fantastic setup, AVGO, it's a great setup. We'll see if it plays out. You always got to manage risk. The stock market can do what the stock market wants to do. We're just looking at the momentum, and it looks good. It's not positive yet, right? But it looks good, doesn't it? That's what you're learning to find, these little moments. That's why I'm paying attention to Microsoft. I'm like, is this going to be one of those little moments? Very, very cool. Is this going to be one of those little moments? Now, this isn't necessarily a setup, but if we start dropping from here, it tells me a lot. If we do this, it tells me a lot for the next day too, right? If we just cross at the end of the day, well, and then I get updated daily expected moves, and those are like this. Say we end right here, and they're like that. Well, then what's the most likely thing to happen going into the next day? Well, we could do this and then end up curling back up, right? Set a trap to the downside and then head up from there. It can tell me a lot going into the next day if I just understand how these things move based on momentum. Well, how's it working for you, Steven? I hope it's working well for you. I hope it's working well for you, first of all. But I think that's a big thing too. And it's in psychology a lot. It says the best type of person to be is the person who is always addicted to learning. Why do you think so many people like Joe Rogan? Like, hate him or love him with politics, but his podcast is so successful because he just is genuinely interested in learning from the people he's talking to and going back and forth and asking them questions that probably you and I would. And I think and psychology proves that. It says it's not be the fool, but be the interested fool. Be like, I don't know. Let me hear this person's side. It says be open to learning in every conversation. And that's a big problem in our politics now. People aren't open to change, open to learning a little bit. But that's great. I hope it works for you, Stephen. I hope it's working out. Generally play in both directions. Okay, cool. So my next fib in ES is 70 points higher than a pullback. Near term target ES 6131. Where are we at right now? I actually don't know what the ES is sitting at. Really? So let's look at this. See, this is kind of what I'm seeing. You see how this is now violating the divergences here. Now, I have another little indicator that I can flash up every once in a while, but it's just not too important, but it is showing on the MACD and that other indicator. It's just the RSI is the one I really like for these type of things, and it's violating that now, which means we could be in a whole nother trend move. So if we take that over into the SPY and we look at a 30-minute, we would go, okay, this might be the beginning of a trend still, right? which means this could just keep doing this. This might be the beginning of an overall uptrend in some way. But then you go, oh, but if that 2 hour crosses, it's pretty ugly. If that 2 hour crosses, it's pretty bad. Peterson Academy, I'm gonna look. Ooh. I like it. Hey, they got some good people in here. Oh, this is literally Jordan Peterson Academy. Okay, I was like, why do they have really good people? They do have pretty good people in here. Covered a couple years ago by GME in a short squeeze, so I am always back with leap options. Yeah, that's yeah, Phantom. That's kind of what we're trying to catch. You know what I mean? Just that moment where people don't think a Christmas rally will happen. Just that moment. And we have a ton of data that could suggest a lot of that this week happens. But we're aware that this is a very bullish trend, and if that news is good for the market, it can still produce more upside. Yeah. You know, I've heard a lot about like Harvard stuff online, and you can pretty much like take full courses like without paying any tuition. There was some YouTuber that literally learned all of his he got like almost a full computer science degree just reading stuff and on Harvard's website. I thought that was pretty interesting. Now, going into the end of the day, we do notice the PCC has shifted up a little bit. We are down in this call area a lot more than we're up in the put area. I noticed we, erased that big spike to the put side. Very interesting. But you will notice we're way down here. Like if we just draw a little box here from that moment, we're going, okay, we're spending way more time down here than we are spending it up here. So eventually that will most likely catch up with us. Once too many people are on the call side, we'll actually see some kind of rip down move. Knowing the timing of that, very difficult though. You could just sit back, relax, watch a 2 hour cross and go, okay, there's my daily pullback. Let me pay attention to a monthly expected move. If that never happens, then you're just still sitting there like, hey, at least I'm not losing money. Oh yeah, I'm a big believer in you don't need technically formal education to learn almost anything, unless it's probably medical field. But even that, you probably could just read books. But it's like, I think it's more the drive to learn is more important, in my opinion. But hey, that's just me. I did notice, I still notice this, and it is holding. Who the hell showed me the VIX 9-day? I want to shout you out, because that's fun to look at. I look at it every once in a while now. Yeah, and Tom, I really would like to see the narrative of some kind of all-time high trap now, see a flush, and then just end up going up later. That's what I'd like to see. I think you have the opportunity. I think this would be great. And then like like halfway through December, you start to get down to these levels. We go like this, we base out, we give that signal that we're looking for, kind of like right here, and then we just go, okay, let's go higher. Then we're off to the races for the rest of December. I'd really enjoy seeing that. Yeah, facts, short Fridays. Oh, man. We still have fun with it over here. You know, I don't know if you guys have Twin Peaks, Hooters, whatever. We go to Twin Peaks, and I just take my wife, and we go look at butts together. And we'll go, ew. We're very judgy there, but, like, not in a rude way, but it's fun. Man, I should not even be watching the SPY right now. It's just, okay, here we go. See, now I'm gonna look at this on a 5, because the 5's gotta be close to the center. Okay. So we've held the direction of the 5 so far. We're holding it on the MACD. I just wanna see if we get any crazy bars at the end of today. Because we are seeing the weakness. It's on a 5-minute chart. We're just looking at it for fun, guys. I do not trade based on 5-minute charts. Sometimes I'll get an initial position based on a 5-minute chart if we're in a bear market. Oh, this thing wants to. Let me see here. It's on ugly day, but it's held very well. I'm very interested to see DJT tomorrow. I guess same could be said about Wolf. Wolf getting to $11 right there for a second. Very interested to see Wolf because that has divergence. That means the weekly momentum can really take over. SMCI 30% now. Very good signal on the 2-hour for the bottom for SMCI. But sometimes it's worth just like, once you can manage risk really well, guys, like once you really take it into all of your trading and you sit there and you go, I feel I'm fine. This stock has been really beat up. Yeah, but I know how to manage risk, right? Oh, it's very, very beat up stock. It's very, very low, very speculative. Okay, let me manage the position size. Oh, that actually turned up. Okay, this looks like a good signal now. All right, let me put that managed position size in. Now I can manage the trade. And then you go, oh, SMCI just popped 30%. Awesome. You can do it with almost anything. I'd just be weary of stocks that don't. Like, I would more so say if your stock's real beat up, like worth only dollars, and it's been just going down and down and down for like 2 years, you might want to pull out the time frame and do like a 2-hour at least. That's why I trade mostly stocks that have been around for a pretty good amount of time. Apple, I'm still interested to see if this 30-minute is going to base out, make some kind of, you don't have reversal signals for Apple. I wish I could say your name, but welcome to the channel. I'm going to call you BC. And what language is that? Kanji? I hate how close this 2-hour is right now. I hate how close that is. Did the Qs have a similar? Oh yeah. So the Q's gonna scoop. And here's the thing, we're so close to this weekly expected move for the Qs, it is very likely to get there. Like, very likely to get there now. With SPX 500, you violated the divergences, so you're going up to higher levels on very, very low volume. So you're squeezing, and I think, don't know yet, well, this will prove itself in like 3 days. I think if we keep heading higher, I think it's retail kind of like just giving the liquidity. They're going to squeeze the market higher, and then we'll see a lot of FOMOers trapped for a bit. Still very bullish look. Yeah, the 500, I'll show you real quick. SPX 500, you've really come up to that point again, right? You're kind of like, hey, let me maybe connect some of these things. Let me see if this connects. Okay, maybe I'll connect this one here. And you go, okay, well, we're getting to a point that's pretty crazy. And that's fine. It doesn't really match up perfectly, so I'm going to get that off my chart. I'm just going to look at this and go, okay, this is violating everything. So it is very likely, if this isn't some kind of crazy squeeze trap that you just see something awful, right? We get data tomorrow. It is very likely to continue the trend. And that's why I pointed that out with the Qs. It is very likely to continue the trend. You violated all the divergences. We're definitely greedy this week. We actually should look at that. And remember, that's what we were talking about over the weekend. We need people to get greedier. That's a very, very good thing to bring up. You need it to get greedier. Now, what are we sitting at? You're only at 67. We'll get this updated tonight, tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, we should take a peek at this. It might be towards like 75. It might see a big jump if today keeps going, if we close at higher levels especially. But I'm just worried about the end of the day, especially for the Qs, just because we're outside of that. You have a 68% chance just to come down in the last 25 minutes here, but you're pretty far away at this moment. Is Bitcoin still dropping? I want to look at Bitcoin on my other charts here. See if anything's flashing here. Yeah, Bitcoin on the daily about to go negative on my other indicator, so 2 hour already is negative. 2 hour has to turn up for Bitcoin to get bullish again. You've already failed it once. And it kind of already almost cup and handled. And the VIX 9-day volatility has not curled down on the 30 yet. Very interesting. Wolf now up with divergence, by the way, for Wolf. Just be aware, this is a 30-minute divergence across the way. This can cause a 2 hour pullback. Just be aware of this. Very key to be open to this falling, right? It's a great move up, but this can cause a 2 hour pullback. It's not confirming that yet, but we're reaching the level where I think we really need to break through. I think 1135 is what you really got to break through here. Just take the bars and the bars. You see how it lead into a gap fill very, very well, 1380. And if we got there this week, that would make sense if we could remain in the wedge. Very cool. Mara is one that gave reversal signals. Look at this, the 2 hour divergences. We were pointing out the first one. We went for the third move higher. You see another one and you go, uh-oh, this can get a little uglier, and it's starting to get uglier. This can lean towards a daily pullback for Mara. We are going into the buy zone again, so if we want to save ourselves, we got to get this 30-minute going. You got to get back out of this zone. You want to just touch in it, touch in it, touch in it, right? Break through, touch in it, break through higher. Touch in it, break, touch in it, break. You want to see this break out of this zone and curl up that MACD. And then if you can see a strong move, you could start a whole new sequence here. I wonder if profit taking comes in for SMCI at the end of the day. That's a massive move. And you're still holding divergence all the way across. It's just very, very flat. Not really right here. Really just this point here, and it's slightly down, actually. So you do have divergence here, flat, I would say. I'm just going to say flat for SMCI. I don't think the 2 hours in a position... Oh yeah, 2 hours there too. So if that creates bigger weakness, watch out for SMCI if the 2 hour does cross. If the 30-minute crosses, that says the 2 hour is likely to cross. So if the 30-minute crosses, that can lead to the 2 hour crossing. If the 2 hour crosses, ooh, you might see this daily struggle for a bit. Hey, wouldn't you like to see another daily signal like this one? Like this one, right? And this was some positivity. Now, this is a higher move, so I think a higher low would be very likely. But if this wanted to cross, we would really start to say, okay, look for that. We'll see. Hopefully we get some good signals there. I like the look. Okay, Wolf up 16% now. Man, that thing is going. It's good. All right, we're gonna put on the 30-minute bar. Let's just see if this bar starts to come down right here. No real good reversal signals, just on the MACD. I'm gonna double check, see if it's on my other indicator. It's just not the most important indicator. That's why I never talk about it. See, on the 30-minute, you're not holding the divergence all the way across like you kind of are on the MACD or the other indicator, so. Does that make any sense? No, but it just means there's one, either liquidity issues, maybe there's something else being fought today that they're donating a lot of that liquidity to. Maybe. And remember, once they start to fight one, I don't think they have enough liquidity to keep them all down. I think that's why you're seeing DJT start to run. I think that's why you're seeing Wolf start to run. They're fighting Mara. They're fighting GME. AMC is holding. Wolf is seeing a boom, and DJT is seeing a boom. But Wolf has reversal signals. DJT kind of could pull back, right? But the daily is what we're paying attention to with DJT. I think they've struggled with liquidity for a while. That's why you saw DJT run. As it backed off, we actually noticed when DJT peaked and they had to fight that really hard, we noticed AMC and GME started this run. Meta hit the weekly range. Want to be careful with just taking something because it hit a weekly range. That's why we talk about so much more in the course. That's why we say 3 to 5 reasons to take a trade. It's a squeeze fest. Yeah, and that was kind of the thought going into this. That's why the thumbnail yesterday was like, we'll get our answer Monday if we're going to squeeze further or end up seeing a pullback or drop. So what we want to see here is we don't have reversal signals. Now, it's good to pay attention to, Sergio, for resistance, but you don't know where that could get support. We don't know. This could just go sideways. This could pull back with time. A pullback with time is where your indicator can pull down to that center line and curl back up, and you just sit here and go like this. And then you just cross up and you see something good. So what I would say is the better signal to watch for Meta is if it curls down, then pops up again, and then you see that. That's what I want to watch for, because that will tell me, hey, this 2 hour is getting way too excited. It's already overbought. That's going to be a 2 hour pullback. Right now, it's still saying pullback, but it's just going to be, you know, right. The most likely thing is it's just a little 30-minute, barring something bad happens, like I wouldn't even say black, maybe bad data causes a 2 hour pullback here. MRK, let's go check it. Oh, Merck Company. Okay, this was in my, I believe this was in my safe dividend companies for my portfolio, the ones I like to watch. Well, you notice this. One, you get a weakness in momentum signal. You get one here. We never chop the low. You hold above the 5. You curl up into positive territory. What's going to happen? Test the high, go make a new one. Okay, we made a new one. Now we actually have the weakness. Now we have the flatness, though, on the RSI. So this could just be a pullback for the 2 hour. And that makes total sense. Why does that make total sense? Well, because we reacted to a key level. We noticed this good liquidity in here. We react down with that divergence. Then we're able to curl back up. If this is able to remain positive and curl back up, you got yourself a left head and a right shoulder. I like it. I don't mind the look, actually. Now, did we get any, are there any daily signals here we need to watch for? Not necessarily. Okay. Kind of a random curl up. You didn't really get a hint from momentum. Yeah, nothing there. You only got this 30-minute thing down here, and that's not even the best look because you kind of held up. Yeah. Yeah, you see how Merck actually, though, I really like this look because it's healthy. So if all these things play out, it's a very healthy way to go higher, right? You're reacting very well to resistance. You're able to hold up near resistance. You're able to build that liquidity up, curl back up into pot. Like all of that is very good. Now, you have to be aware that this could not play out. And then you want to have a plan set for that. Want to short into the 13th for the SPY. SPY very dry here, and now we're starting to see that weakness come in. Keep our eye on volatility. This is what we're looking for. You want to see the microstructure for volatility here. It's going to be a 5-minute maybe divergence right here at the lows. See that 5-minute? That 5-minute turns up. That's the first inkling that the 30-minute can turn up, and then the 30-minute turns up. That's the next inkling that a 2-hour can turn up. That would be a rejection divergence once again, making it more steep. Then if that turns up, that could turn up the 4-hour, and if all that happens, volatility will stay. Right? We have the bigger ones. We're aware of the main signal we're watching, and we're looking for things in here to help us see if that can move up. Right now, the very micro side, you have it, right? If we just watch this 5-minute for the end of the day here, this might scale up. And if that's able to curl up a 30-minute, then we just start the chain reaction. And if all the chain reaction holds the entire way through, you got yourself volatility. But the 5-minute hasn't started the chain reaction yet. So, chilling. I'm just sitting, waiting, wishing you believe in superstition. I don't remember who that is. I don't know who sings that song. Can't remember. I'm going to try my best. I've been trying to work on some good stuff for you guys. I really donated a lot of time last week to the market. I shifted things around to put a bunch of things on YouTube. And this week, I can't do that again, right? I can't do that for multiple weeks in a row. But tomorrow, I do have a very busy day. So I will be hopefully putting out a video later on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I have time to do that. Tomorrow, I'll just be live in the morning just so you guys are aware. Oxy, I do want to talk about this. Is it holding or having bad signals now? Okay, this is good. The 30 minutes able to reverse back up here, trying to carve out that higher low. If you didn't know, Oxy was one that we said it's very wonky, but it's had a golden setup in it for a long time. We see the daily divergence back here is when we were talking about it. That's when this started. You're building liquidity. That's great. Let's look at a weekly scale here. Weekly scale, we're just seeing if that thing can turn up, right? We're hitting that. We're right below that weekly 200. I'd really like to see that positivity. To keep the momentum, it's going to be difficult. If you're going to keep momentum here for the SPY, so Oxy, I don't mind the look of Oxy. It's just building liquidity. It's kind of like TLT. Back when it was just building and building and building, that's where the longer out options will really help with stuff like that. Or just, you know, investing in the stock. Yes, Kyle. Kyle, very, very good. Yeah, Microsoft's the one I'm paying attention to, Kyle. I just got to see if that thing can confirm. And then I'm also paying attention to volatility. You guys know I like to trade volatility. The SPY, though, if you want this to continue, I really think you want a minor 30-minute pullback first. That's just my first inclination. What kind of bar do you need to see positivity? Another squeeze bar. If you want the squeezing to continue, then you want this to not be some dramatic bar like this that takes all that price action out. You want this to pretty much stop where it's at and then start doing that green again. And then you'll just slowly do this, see little blip, slowly do this, see little blip, slowly do this, see little blip. Right? This is just squeeze behavior. But there is selling in it, which is just very interesting to me. Because you'll see in the past, we get these moments where it's almost like all green, all green, all green. Then we start to funk around. Then it starts to get a little more difficult. All green, then it starts to funk around. Is it going to get more difficult? I think the way to remain bullish a little healthier would be just to react to the 5 and then turn right back up. That would be great. That would be fantastic. Now I'm going to just go peek over at some stuff real quick, guys. Hold on, I gotta sneeze. Oh, man, that was a buildup. Okay, GME dropping down a little bit lower, down 6.13%. We have DJT now up 3.39%. We have Wolf up 15.45%. We have Mara down 7.29%, still sitting in our little zone, trying to break out of it right now. So Mara's doing it. It's trying to do the thing. It's trying. Right? Mara's trying. It's breaking through the zone. Needs to curl up on that 30-minute. And it needs a good run here. It needs a good run here because it is very likely to see a lower high. Very likely to see a lower high. So you want a really good move here. You want a move that takes you above this high for Mara to be back to really bullish. As you see, I mean, it's pretty simple. Low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Almost a higher low. Ooh, fails. Now we have a high, a low. Are you going to make a lower high and a lower low? That's what you're really thinking in this area. The best part about this zone is you know it's there. So if we react up, we get that lower high and you see this. Uh-oh. What if that shows up? And what if it's on the RSI at the same time? That would be fantastic. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. AMC, 2.12% up right now. SPY, we still giving it up? If we don't wick it all here, that's a little bit more. But no real... The only, I mean, I guess, yeah, you do have the reversal signal. It's just, it's still far up. I think you might have one more move higher this week, actually. We'll see. We'll see. We get data tomorrow. Okay, someone asked about Q2 holdings. Let's see that. Well, first of all, ooh. Okay, so for this guy, Q2 holdings, for this guy, watch the 2 hour very closely. That's a great buy up. So most likely, I think this is going to curl up one more time and set another trap. We always talk about that third wave trap. It happens a lot. That's why we have the management of risk section in the course. Because these 2 hour divergences, they play out a lot of the time, but a lot of the time still, you'll get a move like this that convinces people, oh my gosh, it's so bullish, and then it just falls. So that's what I'd be weary of here, because you have a 30-minute that's crossing up and going positive. So you might have a little bit more upside left for this one, and then you'll have a 2 hour signal. That's not necessarily the best. Now, why is this happening? Like, why is this going to be a little bit lackluster if that happens? And I mean, it doesn't have to. If a 2 hour curls up and go make a new sequence, it just has to be a strong move. But it's because we did not create the good structure. You notice the ones that we don't create the good structure always end up doing something funky and then falling down, right? From here, you wanted to react to here, you wanted to react down, test that 5, and then you can go up and see the strong move and start the new sequence. But you can't do that if you just keep violating things. Then you're just asking for a bigger pullback. I mean, unless you're the SPY today. See, there you go. So this is kind of what you wanted to see more of what you're getting now. So we'll see what happens in the last 6 minutes here, but you want to see that wick up and just keep riding, riding, riding. It's when you lose it that you start to go, uh-oh, and then you take it back. And then you lose it, and then you take it back. Very, very good. Yeah, Q2 holdings, fun one to look at. Very, very good. AMD, this is where it really would like to reload. A 30-minute flag here can go a long way for AMD. If you want to get back up to where it needs to get, AMD, where it needs to get, you can really see how here we'd probably like a retest. Really like a retest. I don't mind the look. I'm just saying, if we want to get to where we need to get to, breakdown area, right? If we want to get in this area, right, the top of our zone pretty much, and then we want to create the good structure, well, just doing that sporadically, yeah, that's fine. But I think if you do this first, that would be very, very good. Just to give that little moment of like, hey, let's remain healthy here. But if people get too excited too fast, then you start to open the door for, oh God, that's bad. GME, 5.76, wasn't that down like 7? Oh, it must have been on this wick. Down by the center line, is GME really, really bad? It looks really bad. The 2 hour looks awful. The daily looks like it wants to cross down. But if that 2 hour just turns back up, we could see positivity. Trade like water. Looks fine to the downside right now. Just once it changes, you gotta react. All right, we're watching the SPY. Now we're starting to, man, it's starting to dip a little lower than you want now. A little bit more, SPY, little bit more. We can start to pull back at least on a 30-minute, maybe down to a daily expected move. Just XLU looks ugly. Utilities have already turned. I'm gonna really look at utilities this week. Look at the dollar, look at utilities for Saturday's video. It was today's alpha pick. Yeah, that's just how I see it, Brett. Obviously, a stock can move however it wants to move. It's just those are the things I would be paying attention to. The fact that it got excited too fast. When things get excited too fast, they need to pull back, and usually that pullback can be more dramatic because you got excited too fast. Kitty and Zeta killing me. Killing it for me. Okay, good. Whew. You got me scared there for a second. I was about to be like, oh no. We all make mistakes. No, I was like, killing it for me. Let's go. Excited for you. Congratulations, Brett. Nice job. SQ. We can look at that for a second here. Big gap up. Scared of island reversal, to be honest. Yeah, very scared of island reversal here. This is that is not cool. Very scared. That is some pressure. You're not able to hold above these closes. That is bad. This is pretty much double top divergence. If that 2 hour curls down, I'm not a happy camper. I'm saying daily pullback continues. And that was not it. And then the daily gets down to this 20 and maybe turns back around, right? Keep it simple. Yeah, I don't like that. That looks like, hey, take out these levels. Grab the orders, grab some liquidity, take out the stops, do everything you got to, and then let's flush this thing. So it doesn't have to be, but I'm scared of island reversal here. I'm scared of this 2 hour crossing down. Like, does this look like a great opportunity for upside? I don't think so just yet. If the 30-minute can back off and you kind of hold, right, we back off and then we curl up, yeah, there can be positivity. All right, let's go check on that SPY. I'm seeing a lot of like numbers shift over here. Trap them high, squeeze them low. We went over Moss a little bit. I'll just go over Mosaic one more time. Do I think it has room left? It always can continue. What would I like better? A retest of the breakout. I'd really like a retest here. You're getting far away from this 5. I'd really like a retest of like $26.50, $27. Just something like this can go a long way. That was it. The 2 hour divergence is what we were paying attention to. And this is really where a retest can go a long way, right? You want to curl up a daily chart? It's curling up. But you could see an intraday wick like this and then end up going higher. Or daily momentum just takes over, right? That's why we pay attention to the 2-hour divergence at the lows. We want to be in that move pretty early. See, you're seeing, so I think it was Short Fridays asking, what do we need to see to keep going higher? Well, something we've done this whole time is hold that 9 for this little run. Notice when we lose it, it gets uglier. Now we're seeing uglier. So we are worried about the rug pull. We see the squeeze continue for a bit. We'll see. All right. So we got to end on that, guys. So that's what we get for the day. SPY ending in its daily expected move Qs, making a move outside of it. Very, very interesting. So we don't necessarily see 30-minute reversal signals. So we should assume this is going to continue. Now, what can happen from this is a new daily expected move that I'm going to give you later on YouTube could be there, right? You can come to YouTube and get these daily expected moves for free. SPY wasn't able to get above it, but the Qs were. And maybe we go down to a daily expected move and move right back up, and then that's the reversal signal we're kind of looking for at this point, right? That's what we're looking for. As you get close to a weekly, it's very likely to do it. Now, what do we notice about this move? Why am I looking for that, right? We just talked about it. We're probably going to talk about it a little bit later tonight. We just talked about in multiple stocks how you really don't like it when stocks get overexcited. So what you would like to see here is a solid handle down into liquidity, deep down into it right here, right here. So if you want that to happen, you'd reconnect with the 5 and then be able to turn back up. But since we're just getting excited, we're closing above these levels, right? We're closing above these levels as far as the 2-hour closes goes. Hey, if we get some kind of minor pullback and that turns up, the weakness can be there. Okay, so that's all I'll be paying attention to. I will be putting out a video in just a little bit. NF, you've been around for a long time. I'll check it for you. Let's go look at Yum. Yum. Sorry, that was too much. That was too much. Oh my goodness, you are stuck in a little range here with some traps on the outside. Let me do lines. This is going to be too difficult. Where's that wick? Oh my gosh, that's not fun. Yeah, that's not fun because you're just getting traps outside of these zones. Now, what you can do now that you have the range on the daily is just look for a 30-minute and go, okay, did I ever have signals that these were going to be traps at the top or bottom of the range, right? And you'll notice that you did get some signals that told you when it was a trap. Okay, flat divergence there, bam, downside. Okay, right here, divergence across, divergence, downside. Okay, what do you see here? Ooh, wait a second. Oh, divergence, but we're turning back up. So maybe there's one more move higher. Watch out for divergence. If that doesn't show up, maybe we're actually breaking through. That's how I'd read into it. Now, what'd you see to the downside moves? Uh-oh, divergence there. No, this isn't like once you know about divergence, it really unlocks you. Once you understand it very well. You notice there's divergence there, bounce up. Now, divergence here more led to that sideways price action. Divergence here led to rejection divergence, upside move. One little pull there, but still upside move. And then divergence right there on your MACD, led to an upside move. So that's what I'd be looking out for. Looks like the only one you only got on the RSI, not the MACD at the same time, was this first one. So I just sit there, and if I see 30-minute divergence at the bottom of the range, I'm taking it. If I see it at the top, I'm selling it. You know what I mean? And then we'll go over some other stuff later. As far as IWM goes, the 2-hour does look ugly. Yes. And what you're looking for here is, do we see one more little move higher first? Do we see this? And then it really gets ugly. Do we see something small? Do we get rid of this? right? But right now, that is divergence on both your MACD and RSI at the same time. All right, guys, I got to hop off so I can get working on tonight's video. I'm a little bit limited on time, but I do appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for liking the channel so more people can join. You guys, this is your last opportunity right here towards the end of the stream. Go check out the course if you're interested in learning. I'm going to do one more sale for just Christmas, like for 3 days around Christmas time. So if you want to stick around, if you're new and you want to see if this is something more that you're interested in, if you can fully understand it, and then take that course later on, that's perfectly fine. But just know if you want to take that now, get learning, hey, course is going away pretty much by the time I'm done editing my next video. So thank you guys for joining. I'll be putting out a YouTube video in a little bit. Make sure those notifications are on, and I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you being subscribed, and let's turn every single market into a money-making market by paying attention to these signals, trading like water, and that means managing risk and moving back and forth. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys in a bit. Peace out.